Your first experience of love came with conditions attached. Before you had language, before you could walk, you're already learning what you had to do to earn affection. That early blueprint is running underneath every relationship, every career move, every moment you shrink yourself to fit someone else's expectations. And most people never trace the pattern back to where it started. The mother wound is a term therapists use for the emotional damage passed down when a mother, often unintentionally, teaches her child that love is transactional. Maybe she withdrew attention when you expressed anger. Maybe approval only showed up when you performed. Maybe she was physically present but emotionally somewhere else entirely, and you spent your childhood trying to decode what you did wrong. You did nothing wrong. You were a child solving an impossible equation. The mechanics of this run deeper than most people realize. Between birth and roughly age 7, a child's brain operates primarily in theta-wave states, the same brainwave pattern used in hypnosis. During those years, you absorb beliefs about yourself the way a sponge absorbs water, without filtering, without questioning, without any capacity to say, "That's her issue, not mine." Every cold silence, every conditional smile, every moment of emotional unavailability wrote itself directly into your operating assumptions about what you deserve. So what does this have to do with self-worth and manifestation? Everything. Because manifestation, stripped of the mystical language, is pattern recognition and behavioral selection. You move toward what feels familiar. You allow in what matches your internal model of what you deserve. And if that model was calibrated by a mother who couldn't give unconditional love, your ceiling is set before you even walk into the room. Picture this. You get a promotion. Your first instinct is to find the catch. Someone compliments your work and your brain immediately starts composing a list of reasons they're wrong. A relationship starts going well and you feel a pull to sabotage it, picking a fight, withdrawing, testing whether they'll leave. That pull has a return address. It traces back to a nervous system that learned early. Good things come with a price tag and the bill always arrives. Therapists call this the upper limit problem. You have an internal thermostat for how much success, love, and abundance you'll tolerate. Go above that set point and your system pulls you back down. The thermostat was installed in childhood. Your mother's emotional range became your emotional range. Her comfort with receiving love became yours. Her beliefs about what women deserve, what people like us can expect, what's realistic, those transferred like a virus you couldn't see. And the transfer is specific. Research in attachment theory, particularly the work coming out of the University of Minnesota's longitudinal studies, shows that the attachment style you develop with your primary caregiver in infancy predicts your relationship patterns decades later with striking accuracy. Anxious attachment, the constant need for reassurance, the fear of abandonment, the monitoring of other people's moods like a weather radar, maps directly onto a mother who was inconsistently available, sometimes warm, sometimes cold, with no predictable pattern. Your child brain did the only logical thing. Hypervigilance. Watch her face. Read the room. Adjust yourself to survive. That hypervigilance is still running. You feel it every time you craft an email and rewrite it 6 times. Every time you scan someone's tone for hidden disapproval. Every time you achieve something meaningful and immediately deflect the credit. The survival strategy that kept you safe at age 4 is now the glass ceiling at age 34. There's a particular cruelty in how this intersects with manifestation practices. Someone with a mother wound picks up a book about abundance mindset, tries affirmations, visualizes their ideal life, and feels worse. The affirmations bounce off. "I am worthy of love" hits the nervous system like a foreign object, and the immune response kicks in. Your body literally rejects the statement because it contradicts decades of stored evidence. You can say the words, your body remembers the truth it learned first. This is where most manifestation advice fails people catastrophically. It targets the conscious mind. Repeat positive thoughts. Choose better beliefs. Act as if. Meanwhile, the subconscious, which controls roughly 95% of your daily behavior, is running code from 1994. The affirmation says you deserve abundance. The body says you deserve exactly what your mother's eyes told you that you deserved. When you were 3, the body wins, every time. So what actually works? The research points in one direction. You have to go through the body, not around it. Somatic experiencing. A framework developed by Peter Levine works with the physical sensations stored in the nervous system rather than trying to override them with thoughts. EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, helps the brain reprocess traumatic memories so they lose their emotional charge. These approaches share a common principle. The wound lives in the body. The repair has to meet it there. There's a specific exercise that attachment researchers recommend. Write a coherent narrative of your childhood. The emphasis is on coherent, meaning you can describe what happened, how it affected you, and how you make sense of it now, without minimizing or drowning in the emotion. Studies by Mary Main at UC Berkeley found that parents who could tell a coherent story about their own difficult childhoods were far more likely to form secure attachments with their own children. The narrative itself was healing. Organizing the chaos into a story gave the brain a new filing system for all pain. The counter-argument deserves respect. Some psychologists push back on the mother-wound framework, arguing it places too much blame on mothers, many of whom were dealing with their own trauma, poverty, mental illness, or lack of support. They have a point. Your mother's emotional limitations almost certainly trace back to her mother's limitations, and so on, generation after generation. The wound is inherited. Blame is the wrong frame. Understanding the mechanism is the right one, because understanding is what lets you interrupt the chain. And interrupting the chain looks different than most people expect. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly feel worthy. The shift is more like defrosting, slow, uneven. Some days you catch yourself mid-sabotage and choose differently. Other days, the old pattern runs its full course before you even notice. The work is in the noticing. Each time you observe the pattern without being consumed by it, you create a tiny gap between stimulus and response. That gap is where change lives. One client described it to her therapist this way. She said receiving a compliment used to feel like someone handing her a package she knew would explode. After 2 years of somatic work, receiving a compliment felt like someone handing her a package she wasn't sure about. She still flinched, but she could hold it now. She could stay in the room. That's what rewiring self-worth actually looks like. Staying in the room when every old circuit is screaming at you to leave. Letting someone be kind to you for 5 seconds longer than feels safe. Raising your price, sending the invoice, and sitting with the nausea instead of immediately discounting yourself. The nervous system learns through corrective experiences, moments where the predicted catastrophe doesn't arrive. Each time love doesn't come with a bill, each time success doesn't trigger punishment, the thermostat nudges upward, millimeters at a time. The manifestation part follows naturally. When your internal set point rises, you stop unconsciously filtering out opportunities that exceed your old ceiling. You respond to the email you would have deleted. You hold eye contact a beat longer. You stop apologizing for existing in a room. The external changes look like luck to everyone else. You know the real math. Years of thawing something that froze before you had words for cold. Your mother probably did the best she could with what she carried. That can be true. And it can also be true that what she carried left marks on you that shaped every major decision you've made. Both things sit in the same room. You don't have to choose between compassion for her and honesty about the cost. The chain breaks when someone decides to feel the wound, instead of passing it forward. That someone gets to be you, flinching, staying, holding the package a little longer each time.